She's asexual and I'm not. Can this work? I'm 21M, and she's 21F. We've been close for years, met when we were teenagers, and have over time built up to being romantically involved. We go on dates, we cuddle, she stays at my place and we share the bed. We've told each other that we love each other. I've never clicked like this with anybody else in my life. She has told me that she wants to be with me, but she told me around the time we first met that she is asexual, and reiterated that as we've gotten closer. She has made it clear she doesn't ever want sex. The thing is, I'm not asexual, and I've never been with anybody sexually. If I stay with her, I'll never know what it's like to be sexual with somebody. I would never cheat on her, and I want to be with her. Is sex really that big of a deal? Everywhere I look there's such an emphasis on sex. Am I really going to be missing out that much? Is there anyone out there who has been in my situation? Can I stay with her and healthily deal with my sexuality without feeling like I'm missing out? I can't help but feel like there's some shame in remaining a virgin. Some guidance would be strongly appreciated. Too long didn't read. She's asexual, I'm not, we want to be together. Can this work? She's asexual and I'm not. Can this work? No, not forever. Be with her and in a relationship for as long as you wish to, but at some point, if you have an active sex drive, you will seek sexual contact. It's okay, healthy and natural to want sex in a romantic relationship. It's how the majority of humans are wired. Won't work. Give it some time and you'll see. You'll find someone else that fits better. I'm honestly baffled that some people here are suggesting that this could work. This is not Hollywood. He's a young man in his 20s with zero sexual experience and you tell him that love will fix everything. Get real, folks. First of all, there's definitely zero shame with being a virgin at all, guy or girl. It's no one's business and it's a social construct. Don't worry about that. Now with your sexuality, look, it's honestly up to you, but sexuality is a huge part of a person. You should never try and be someone you aren't. Suppressing it probably won't work long term. Maybe talk to her and see if there are ways you two can work together on it and both make compromises. You shouldn't have to give up a part of yourself ever in any relationship. I can't say whether or not you would miss it, but you're saying you're not asexual, so there needs to be some open communication between you two on how you are to address it and meet your needs, because your needs are equally important. I say don't give up your sexuality because personally I'm very sex positive person and I highly enjoy it and it's important to me. But only you can decide if that is right for you. But there are definitely ways to make a relationship work without sex if that doesn't bother you. But I'd say if you're not asexual, then somewhere something's gotta give. You can love people very much and have major parts of them be incompatible with you, and that's okay. I know it's hard. I wish you all the best. If she's not willing to accommodate your sex drive, it will not work. Look into some partners of asexuals support groups to understand what staying with her as a life partner would entail. I've heard of some aces who have no problem participating in sex but just don't have the urge to initiate it themselves. Some couples who agree that the non-ace partner can seek outside sexual FWBs, etc. You can't deny your sex drive and you shouldn't. The question is whether the two of you can find a way to work something out where both of you are happy. If you are not asexual, it is not fair to expect you to go without a healthy sex life. I certainly wouldn't give up on it before losing your virginity. I, 22F. I'm in love with my 23F lesbian roommate. However, she thinks I'm straight. Hello, I am in a bit of a pickle. This year, I moved in with two random roommates off campus at my college. I met one of the girls on a housing group on FB and so we did not know each other beforehand. We're all seniors and this is our last year at school, and we're also from very different far apart parts of the country. Up until this year, I exclusively identified as straight. I had no problem with being attracted to someone of the same sex, I just wasn't. I have always liked boys and have had a lot of crushes growing up, as well have dated several guys I was super into. When I moved into the house and we started getting to know each other and our backstories/lives, I even identified myself as straight in terms of sexuality to my roommate, to whom I now realize I have feelings for. I don't know if it was the quarantine, my one roommate being very candid about her sexuality and owning it, her laugh and her charming mannerisms, her general aura, or what. One day I looked at her and realized that she literally was my type. Everything about her was magnetizing, and both today I fucked up to me. I realized I wanted to know her on a level of more than just platonic female friendship. I realized I was attracted to her, and through that realization I came to notice that I actually was attracted to women. Maybe it shook loose a realization in me, but suddenly it seemed just as familiar to me as being attracted to men. But here's the thing, she has no idea. In fact, from her perspective I think she sees me in a very different perspective than what I'm feeling internally. I think she very much believes I am a sexually straight-edged, nice Catholic girl. We've had some discussions about religion and my sexual history. I was raised very religious, and even though I don't quite fit into the boxes anymore, I still have a very capital G God-based spirituality. I've never had sex, a choice I made for myself, not cause of parents or rules forcing me. Definitely seem very prim and repressed, and I have a suspicion she thinks I could be homophobic, which is effing funny because I'm literally raging for her. I also think I'm a very exuberant and affectionate person, which is multiplied 100x if I have feelings for someone, which I am perceiving she thinks is a facade, whereas I'm actually a judgmental asshole on the inside. And it's like, no, I'm actually really soft and melting, and I'm in love and writing bad poetry about you, but you have no idea. So like, I have all these feelings, but I am also aware of certain complications. 1. We're roommates, and have another roommate who is both of our friends, who I would not want to put in the middle of this or make feel uncomfortable. Also, even if she was cool with it, there is a chance we could break up and it be volatile and messy and still a problem too. We are very different. I am so infatuated, but we are. She's very sarcastic and sometimes blunt, and I'm a bit more sensitive and get my feelings hurt easily, which would not be a great combination in a relationship probably. We sometimes get into disagreements in the house as roommates. 3. We have somewhat opposite views of the world. I believe in God, she doesn't. She had a pretty turbulent and wild teenage and young adulthood. I was very tame and sheltered. She's pretty withdrawn and reserved by nature. I am very excitable and affectionate, but I can't stop thinking about her. I dream about her. I talk to my parents and friends. I cry. I pine. I think she's magnificent, and even though we're so different, I think it just fascinates me with her even more. And more than that, there are things we meet each other on. We have similar family histories and traumas. Although she doesn't show it always, she talks about having a very sensitive nature within. We cook together, we laugh, we watch TV and movies, and I just have this ache because I like this person so much and they literally have no idea. When we're drunk, she tells me I'm pretty and I drunkenly fall asleep in her single bed. Inebriated me knows what she wants and has no filter lamau, while she's talking to our friends, and when she wakes me up she says I'm smiling as she calls my name and helps me to bed. We watch Ratatouille and I as innocently as possible snuggle into her, comparing us to Linguini, me, and Colette, and I just want her. If I don't tell her how I feel by the end of the year when our lease is up, I think I'll sorely regret it. I know I will. At the same time, I don't want to ruin our friendship or the dynamics of the house, and maybe we're not even compatible. I just don't want to regret saying nothing and letting her go. TL, doctor, I thought I was straight until this year. I met my hot, intelligent, sharp lesbian femme roommate and went FCK. Guess I'm bisexual. I'm seriously infatuated and want to tell her, at least before we graduate/finish our lease, but I don't want to upset the delicate balance of our house dynamics or our friendship for nothing if we're not realistically compatible to have a successful relationship. I also feel like she misunderstands who I am a lot of the time, or believes I think ill of her, and I want her to just know me and realize how in love with her I am. What should I do? Question mark. I think this is the sort of thing that might go terribly, but it's also the sort of thing you'll regret forever if you don't pursue. Heartbreak can help you grow, regret doesn't. Emo. Talk to her and tell her. I'd probably start with the subtle approach and, as others have suggested, drop a few hints, consume LGBT material around her so it's clear you have no prejudice. If you are able to talk to her, generally, then ask her about how coming out was for her, and hopefully she will realize that what you are really asking about is how to come out yourself. If all else fails, you might need to straight up say you are bisexual and judge her reaction, though by the time you've got to that stage, she should, hopefully, have realized there was something you've been trying to tell her, and she will at least be more prepared. Starting a relationship whilst living together as roommates is tough, because if it works out then it's amazing and you already know what living together is like. If it doesn't work out, then it can be awkward. Sometimes you just have to take a chance. Hopefully by the time you have come out to her and given her a bit of time to process, she will have started seeing you as an option and as attainable. So what are you looking for with this? A fling where you get to explore your sexuality, or a serious relationship where you're expected to introduce her to your super religious family? How would they respond to meeting her? I'd probably be more worried about that future dynamic than with what your other roommates think, who probably all are noticing something if you guys are cuddling on the couch watching Ratatouille. It's also important to ask whether or not you're just looking at her with rose-colored glasses because of quarantine and you're lonely. Kind of caught vibes from your post where you're looking at her kind of like a life mentor who you want to awaken you, and that a lot of your infatuation may be stemming from that. Just some thoughts. Hey there, little hatchling bisexual, welcome to the flock. You're in for a hell of a time. _carrot. Now, I need to offer you some real advice. Take it as you will. Everyone's coming out story is different, and I don't want to control your narrative. That being said, please do a little discovery of your identity outside of your crush. You are feeling all sorts of new emotions, but pinning your sexuality on one girl is, quite frankly, a recipe for heartbreak if it doesn't go all fairy tale like a lot of us are gunning for. I highly recommend checking out ultcnation.com and theaterofaproject.com for resources on where to start. As for the girl, you need to open up some signals. Blindsiding her is not fair at all, especially if it's so hey I'm a little gay for you. You need to give her time to see you as an option, or at least attainable. If she feels the same way, maybe make some offhand remarks on cute girls in films, even just casually say yeah I'm a little bisexual, or hell even consume some LGBT media near her. I highly recommend watching Love, Simon or Imagine Me and You. Great films that are happy endings and unequivocally gay as hell. Just let her know you're an option. I wish you the best of luck. Smiley face, smiley face. Edit, amused I got given gold. Thank you. Ah yes, messy gay roommates, my expertise. I think what other people have been saying about coming out to her first and letting her get used to that idea is a good plan. You should definitely tell her how you feel, maybe a few weeks after, but you need to be prepared for her to not be interested. And that's okay. This is important to be prepared for since you're roommates. I think that roommates can date as long as you both are willing to accept that you will break up, and that when that happens you need to do it gracefully. That's not to say that you actually will break up, but coming at it from that angle will make it easier if you do. Also, I honestly wouldn't worry too much about making it awkward. It seems like you are good friends to begin with, so remember that she is likely to work with you no matter what happens. It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Go for it! Exclamation mark. My boyfriend, M20, moved in with my family and I, F20, but appears ungrateful. My boyfriend, M20, and I, F20, have been together for 3 years and 9 months. Due to some family issues at home, back in May, my family graciously allowed him to move in with us and figure out his career path since he was very uncertain after dropping out of college a year prior. My family told him that he could live with us and not have to pay for rent, food, or anything. He just had to follow through with his commitment to the trade he chose. When he first got here in May, things were going well and my parents were doing everything to support him. They would talk to him about what trade he was looking to pursue and helped him with the application process. I took it as they were trying to keep him accountable. He sometimes took it as them continuously bothering him. I explained to him that all they want to do is help him and they just want to ensure that he is able to take the steps to get into the trade school. As the months went on, he oftentimes complained about my family, specifically my mom, and the way that they do things. I never perceived it as an issue, and that could be because I've lived with them my whole life, so I know how they work. When he said these things about my family, I never really knew what to say. I would always just get quiet because that's not what I want to hear. My mom tries to be involved and I could agree that sometimes it is too much. But that doesn't make her a bad person. It just shows that she cares. There have been times where he mimics my mom's voice and it hurts me. There were little things like putting the toilet seat down, making his bed every morning, and cleaning his room that he was often annoyed with. He oftentimes gets annoyed with the little things. I feel like it's not a lot to ask of him considering we are allowing him to live with us without paying anything. He also feels very uncomfortable around my family and I feel bad about that. However, I also feel like I shouldn't feel bad because it's not my fault. Sometimes I feel that he comes off as ungrateful and I don't exactly know how to explain that to him without seeming rude. This could be a flaw of mine because I have a hard time telling people how their actions come off, especially when they are negative. I don't like hurting people's feelings, especially his, because he tends to take things very personally. It ends up making me feel bad for saying things even if that wasn't his intention. I could tell that my boyfriend oftentimes misses home, so we started buying him plane tickets to see his family every so often since their relationship has improved. He took this as my parents not wanting him around, and that's not the case. My dad just thought that he would appreciate going home every so often for a change of scenery since he doesn't seem happy here. When October came around, he seemed miserable at my house. He oftentimes expressed this, but he couldn't leave because he made a commitment to finish his trade. I'm very proud of him for committing to this. There was one time where he said living with your parents suppresses my manhood. I don't really know what to make of this. He oftentimes complains or gets upset that we don't get enough privacy to be intimate. While this is an inconvenience, I feel like sex isn't the only way to be intimate. He went as far to say, you don't understand how much it means to me, especially when I have to endure being here. Because we have sex so far and few between, I don't know when the next time will be. It's getting harder and harder to be here. I understand that being intimate is important to him, but I took this as a way of him saying I should compensate his bad time being here for sex. I told him this and he said that he never meant for it to seem like that and that he wouldn't ask about sex again, which I believe was kind of an exaggeration. I oftentimes get over things quickly and I think that is where I go wrong sometimes. I'm afraid to hurt his feelings because I don't think he has any intent on being manipulative. Some of my friends believe he is being manipulative with the things he says. I feel like any time that we have together is meaningful since I moved a few years ago, so we have been doing long distance since then. I also believe there are other ways to be intimate without having sex. I do love him. He complains quite a bit about things that can't really change, little things that he has to do, or things that are out of his control. It can be really hard to be around him when he complains about every little thing. I'm not really sure what I'm looking for by posting this. I guess I just wanted some opinions on the situation. I don't know how to make him feel more comfortable at my house. His program ends in April, so he will most likely move back home then. Thank you. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend moved in with my family, feels unwelcome, complains and gets upset over little things, unsure how to approach these issues.